Hey everyone, Eric here. In this video, we're checking out the HM Demon from Bardic Audio Devices. The HM Demon from Bardic Audio Devices is based around and inspired by the classic boss heavy metal, the HM2. Now, the HM Demon does have a couple expansions and additions to that circuit which make it very unique. Let's go ahead and jump into the controls. Up here on the top left, we have the gain knob, which lets you introduce more or less distortion into the HM Demon. Now, one thing that Tim from Bardic Audio Devices told me was that a lot of attention was spent in those lower gain settings. So let's go ahead and hear the gain at minimum. We're running my SG into this Marshall style 50-watt amp set pretty clean. And here's the gain on the HM Demon at minimum. Now, as we increase that gain control, like I said before, we're gonna get pretty dirty pretty quick. Now, next to the gain control, we have a distort control and a clean control. Now, these are two independent level controls. Now, the distort control allows us to set our overall output of our distorted signal, the signal that gets distorted and then goes out of the pedal. So if we turn it down, we're going to get no signal. And then as we turn it up, we get a louder signal. Same goes with our clean control right here. I'm going to turn the distort down and we're going to turn up that clean. And that's tied to this toggle down here, but we're going to get into that a little bit more later. Right now I want to head into the EQ section. We have EQ controls for low, mid, and high. Now this is an active EQ band, which means in the middle, we get a flat response for each of these bands of EQ. We can choose to both boost and cut each band of EQ. If we want to boost, let's go on the low end. Let's focus on the low end. If we want to boost the low end from right here, what we can do is we can boost it by turning it up past noon. And then if we set it back down to noon, again, we get a flat response. And if we want to cut low end out of our signal to make it thinner sounding, we can turn it down past noon. Now let's go ahead and focus in on the mid control. Again, Our low controls are lowest end frequencies. Our mid controls are mid-range frequencies. Let's go ahead and scoop all the mid-range out. And now we can boost it. Now we can set that back to flat and move on to the high control. This does the same exact thing. If we turn it down past noon, we're going to strip all the high end out of our signal. Moving on, we have two toggle switches. Now, the low frequency toggle switch corresponds to the low end control, and the mid frequency toggle switch corresponds to the mid control. This shifts where exactly the low control is affecting on the frequency spectrum. So if we have the toggle in the left position, we're getting a lower end frequency. So to demonstrate this, let's go ahead and boost that low end all the way up. What we can do now is focus in, listen to that low end, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on the left side, which is a lower end frequency, and then I'm going to flip it to the right side, which is still in the low end of the frequency spectrum, but it shifts it up just a tiny bit to get a different sound. Now we're going to do the same thing, but with the mid control. And this mid toggle right here, mid frequency toggle, does the same exact thing. I'm going to boost it. In the left position, we have a lower end mid range, which I think is about 250 hertz. And then in the right position, we have about 500 hertz. And now moving on, I want to backtrack a little bit to our clean signal. And so our clean signal is, again, controlled by this clean control right here. That is the overall level control of our clean blend. So if I want more clean signal to be introduced into the HM Demon, I can turn that up. And again, the clean control is tied to this post and pre toggle switch right here, and that lets us choose whether we want our clean signal to be before the EQ or after the EQ, and that gives us a very powerful choice to make, because we can put our clean signal before the EQ, which means we then take our clean signal and run it through this really powerful active EQ setup with low, mid, and high, and then of course the 2 frequency toggles right here. So let's go ahead and turn the distort knob down and the clean signal all the way up. So right now we're only getting clean signal, and I just put the toggle back in the post section, so we're not running through EQ at all right now. So this is how it sounds. What we can do is we can choose to put the toggle over in the pre position. This lets us run our clean signal through the EQ. We're putting our clean signal in pre-EQ. So now we're taking our clean signal and running it through this really powerful EQ setup. So what we can do is we can, put all the knobs at noon, listen to our sound. And say maybe we want some more high end in there. So what we can do is we can turn up the high end control. Maybe we want some more bass in there. Maybe we want to introduce some of that like single coil Fendery type mid scoop, so we can pull the mids down a little bit. Or we can go full out like old school style HM2. That's where, the classic setting is to put all the knobs at 10. So what we can hear what that sounds like with a clean guitar. And then, of course, you can use this post and pre-toggle position for our clean signal to further shape the sound that's running alongside the distortion sound. Now, another thing that I really like to do with the HM Demon is use a boost into the front of it, because, some HM style pedals don't really like that, but the HM Demon actually is pretty okay with it. So right now I have the ADB, also from Bardic Audio Devices, running into the front of the HM Demon, and this is going to allow us to boost our signal running into the HM Demon to get, you know, even more saturation out of the distortion channel in the HM Demon. Let's just go ahead and hear how that sounds. This is going to be just the HM Demon first. And then now let's go ahead and kick on the ADB. So now we have my jazz bass plugged into the HM Demon, same amp, same settings. Here's a clean sound. So let's go ahead and hear how the HM Demon sounds on bass. Let's go ahead and put both the clean and distortion volumes at like 60%. EQs are all on 75%. Let's hear how that sounds. I hope you enjoyed this look at the HM Demon from Bardic Audio Devices. If you did, please let me know in the comments below how you would use this pedal. Also, I would love to know if you typically use clean blends or not. I really think that this is a pretty innovative way to implement a clean blend, but I would love to know what you think in the comments below. I also want to thank these folks right over here, my executive producers from my Patreon page. These are my Patreon fam. I really appreciate the support. It means the world to me, and y'all are the best. That's it. If you watching this would like to help support the channel here and my efforts online, I will leave a link in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're staying safe. I hope you enjoyed the video. I will talk to you in the next one.